Hey guys, Zen here, and today we have another huge Rainbow Six Siege video to unpack together. Now, the latest patch is live for everyone, console included, and so I wanted to go over everything. And of course, there's always just a few surprises in each one of these videos for you, so no more hold up, let's work. First up, a game update, and this one in particular has been causing me some mixed emotions, so let's talk about it. So for starters, the Lion and Capitao reworks are here with this patch. For Lion, they're going to be reducing the ability warning to 1.5 seconds, reduce the scanning to 2 seconds, replace the scan outline by a red ping debuff, increase the number of charges to 3, and reduce the ability cooldown to 15 seconds. And of course, Vigil with his ability is immune to all of this. With Capitao, officially, the fire bolts only do 12 damage per tick, the area of effect is significantly increased, and they'll be introducing some drop off after about 10 meters, which honestly isn't that far. So we've talked about both of these changes a bunch in the past, so I don't want to spend too much time here, but I honestly believe that the rework to Capitao will have the bigger change in the meta. I know a lot of people are awaiting the demise of Lion, but I don't think that's what we've got here. Lion is different, to say the least, but Capitao now has a defined role on attack, something I think he was missing for a long time. And again, as we've discussed previously, Mira now has a new hard counter, but something I haven't heard is just how much this will impact Bandit and the Bandit trick. So just in case you needed a refresh, those are now live with this update. Now, this update is massive, and some other operators will be seeing some changes here as well. I only see it fitting to start with Kaid, my main.
Might have a camo. There you go, bud. That was nice shot.
His AUG received a damage buff from 27 to 33, but also the TCSG shotgun will be losing a full magazine's capacity. Now, Ubisoft made it a point to mention that now Kaid has some choices to make. Something I don't think a lot of people realize about this operator is that he basically does it all and has multiple gameplay styles built into him. With the AUG receiving this buff, it now opens up the opportunity for Kaid to use the AUG and impacts instead of just relying on the TCSG for both gunfights and utility. The shotgun is losing a mag, and it already doesn't have a ton of ammo, so if you're the one opening up rotations on site, you're gonna have to really pay attention to your ammo reserves. However, if you do decide to forego the TCSG barbed wire combo, you're also losing Kaid's trap utility, which, as I'm sure many of you are aware by now, I'm a huge fan of. Now yes, you can always pair the AUG up with the barbed wire, but then you completely lose his breaching capability. So for me, a Kaid main, it's exciting to know that now I can confidently use the AUG, but also a little daunting having to make those crucial choices on the fly. This is definitely a topic we'll be revisiting in some future content, but I want to know your thoughts about it. Now that the AUG has been buffed, which primary do you think will be more popular in the meta? Let me know in a comment down below. Now, a change that I actually never saw coming and has me a little shocked is the nerf to Blitz. The ballistic shield flash cooldown has been increased to 7 seconds between flashes, up from 2. Now, the part that really wowed me is the fact that this really isn't being done for balancing reasons, but to tone back some of the frustration that occurs when you're facing off against this operator. Some of you might be saying, well, yeah, Zen, Blitz is really frustrating when he's sprinting at you spamming his gadget, and to that, I'd agree. But even to this day, after all of his changes, he's still one of the least picked operators in the game and struggles to remain dominant in the meta. His data has gotten a little better in year 4, and we'll get into that in just a minute, but he's still very much low tier. Now, technically speaking, this is a quality of life change to this operator, so I do think that this makes a lot of sense and will also force Blitz to be more strategic about how he uses his gadget. The next operator with an update is Maestro. If his evil eye is shocked by Twitch or comes into contact with an EMP grenade, the shuttle will be left slightly open, which means it'll be vulnerable to bullets and can be taken out. Now, this makes Twitch a much bigger threat to Maestro than ever before. It'll take some time and probably cost the drone, but now she can zap it once to open it and zap it again to take it out. This tactic will use up a lot of Twitch's utility and again be pretty obvious to the defenders, but taking out an evil eye is almost always worth that trouble because of how powerful they can be. In my opinion, Maestro is one of the strongest defenders in the game right now, and yes, I do think this change will see some rounds lost because of it, and it'll definitely affect his placement of the gadget as well, but in a lot of cases, this just won't be a problem for Maestro. His evil eye still does counter the shock drone, so it's not going to be as easy as just pulling up to it and taking it out, and Thatcher usually dumps dumps all of his utility out on the hard breach. It'll be rare to have a Thatcher specifically aimed to take out an Evil Eye. I still think the fact that ultimately the gadget is bulletproof and Maestro's Alda is a monster on defense. A tip for you Maestro mains will be to bring your Evil Eyes just a little bit closer to the objective where you can kind of protect them, and now it's more important than ever for you to pay attention to the shock drones and take them out. A brand new interaction is actually being introduced with this patch, and it's that now IQ can see Echo while he's on his PDA. This really changes everything about where Echo sits, how much time he's spending on the drones, and also how much more IQ will be played because of this. Guys, this is actually huge. Echo is easily a top defender right now with his ability to deny plant and provide invisible intel, and now IQ totally disrupts that lazy boy persona Echo has been legendary for. If IQ is on the field, the more time you spend on yokai, the more you're putting yourself at risk. Now, Echo is the only operator that is completely immune to Dokubi's logic bomb, which of course has always been a massive advantage for him, but it's that same play on gadgets that's now putting him in danger. So Echo will need to be much more dynamic with his playstyle to last the entire round. The current loop is to put up your walls, a deployable shield, sit and chill behind it, and cruise yokai around, slowing the attacker's push and providing intel for the squad. Now though, I think it might be most effective for Echo to roam and find a secluded spot off-site to use yokai. IQ is the queen of going vertical, especially when dealing with defender gadgets. All she has to do is rush in a floor above or below the objective and hunt for Echo setting up his drones. If she finds him, there's really nothing he can do to stop her from killing him instantly, and he'll also never know that he's being spotted. At least with Pulse and the cardiac sensor, he can see IQ as well because their gadgets have relatively the same range and they kind of counter each other. But again, Echo is clueless here and completely vulnerable while using the PDA. So this is 100% a hard nerf to Echo and honestly a massive buff to IQ. Really, this is exactly what she's needed since losing her frags. Ying is actually going backwards in this update. So the longer you cook the Candela, the faster it'll go off. So if you want to throw it and have it go off the instant it touches the ground, you'll need to cook it. If you want it to roll on through a drone hole and across the objective, you just toss it like you would any other projectile. So yes, it's been flipped. This is going to cost Ying a few very valuable seconds before she starts lighting up a room. In its current state, without Jaeger that is, it's almost like a light switch where she can toss them all out at once and own the room. However, with this in place, it's going to require her to slow down and be more selective with her gadget. To be honest though, I think the learning curve is going to be what stings her most because we've been doing it one way since this operator's release. Ying has always been high risk, high reward in that you have to be sure they're blind before you push, and I don't really think that this is going to change here. She's still going to be a very strong finisher and the only one immune to her own flash, so it really shouldn't change that much. Finally, we have the big change to Nomad, where her trap emits a sound. So you guys know how I feel about this one, so now that it's here, what do you think? Do you think this is game changing for her, and what are your early impressions? In game, I've definitely noticed the sound more than I thought I would, and I think it's a change that in a month's time will be much more prominent than it is now. So as far as operator balancing, that's it in this update. I know, still no word on Castle, but these changes are going to make a huge shift in the meta, especially between IQ and Echo, and I'm honestly excited to see how the community reacts through the rest of this season. Now, for the next part of this video, we'll need to deal with these lights. Producer, cut the lights. Listen up. A few days ago, the world got a glimpse at an actual black hole called M87. It is the most destructive force in our universe, capable of swallowing entire galaxies. In short, I'm a little scared. For the Earth, that is. Now, how does this pertain to Rainbow Six, you're wondering? Well, on this day, Rainbow tweeted out a mysterious GIF, and I believe we get to see the face of a brand new operator. So the tweet reads, #BlackHole, a region in any map where Maverick is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Now, of course they mention Maverick, and yes, that does look like some kind of cool effect with his Surrey blowtorch, but if you trust me, there's absolutely no way this is Maverick. I've zoomed in over 200% and can clearly see this isn't Maverick's face. Now, I won't pretend to have all the answers, and yes, the dramatic effects have ended, but I'd say this was a cheeky tease for an operator we won't see for a while, maybe even season 4 of this year. But let me know who you think it is, or do you believe my hunch? But that'll do it for the video. Guys, Zen 2.0 is coming very soon, which ultimately means more content here on the channel. We've got this beautiful thing here where you guys support support everything that comes out of this channel, and so it's my time to dust off and clean up. No cap. But I want to hear from you. Are you excited about all of the nerfs and buffs that are now live in the game? And, well, how's 2019 so far? Leave it all in a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Hey, I'm out.